Well, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed your lunch. My name's Jacob Elliot, and I'm here from Hallam Internet, and I'm going to give you 45 tips in 45 minutes of how to promote your tourism business online. In today's increasingly digital age, we're finding more and more people are researching holidays online before placing a booking. With this in mind, we've designed these tips for you to be effective, easy to implement, and to give you a return on investment for your time. I'll just begin by introducing myself a little bit. My name's Jake Elliot. I'm from Hallam Internet. I was going to begin by talking a bit about my marketing background, but I'll skip that stage. Instead, I've got an image of myself in a red wig from this weekend. That's me fundraising at a Morrison's in Nottingham. Just a little bit about where I'm coming from. I'm from Hallam Internet. We're a team of digital marketing consultants. We each have our own portfolio of clients, and we help businesses like yours online to get more presence online. We take into account your business objectives, and we use the methods that I'm talking about today and others to help generate you more business online. There are some images of some of the attractive faces I work with, and on the screen are also some of the services that we offer. So that's Hallam Internet. Here are a few of our clients. We work with quite a wide range of people, as you can see from the screen. We've got Experian, Ford, but we also work with a number of tourism clients. We work with people like Trentham Estate, Hopkins Blaze, and many others like the Peak District. And the reason I'm showing this slide is because the tips I'm going to be talking about today have been applied for various different businesses over the last 10 years, and they do work. Because they can work on such a diverse range of clients, I'm certain they can work for you as well. So what we're going to cover today, there are 4 main sections. We're going to be talking about content, we're going to be talking about free Google tools, we're going to be talking about social media platforms, so that's things like Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, TripAdvisor, and then we're also going to be talking about the website design. And the basic strategy of how it works, in a nutshell, is creating really great content that your users are going to really enjoy using and find useful. They can use free Google tools to optimize that content. You can then push that through your social media channels to gain you a wider audience. The whole purpose of this being to drive more traffic to your website. If your website design is then geared up in the right way, all that traffic coming to your website will then result in more leads and ultimately more business. So really it's a funnel that can drive people to your site to convert into sales. So we've got 45 tips in slightly less than 45 minutes, so I'll try and be quick. So tip 1 is to check your content. I don't suppose anybody knows why there's a panda on the screen. Well, the reason there's a panda on the screen is it relates to a Google update, which basically rewards very high quality content. So content is things on your website like words, images, videos, blogs, and what you want to do is update your content regularly, make it fresh and unique. You also want rich content on your site. What this means is things like videos, things like images, quizzes, interactive content, or just stories. User-generated content always goes down well. There is the old adage that it's not what you say about yourself, but what others say about you that's important. So if you can get testimonials and user-generated content on your site, that's going to look very good for the people who are visiting you. So tip number 1 is to check your content. Having checked your content, you may decide you need to create new content. We advise blogging once a week. At Hallam, we blog every single day, but it depends how much time you have. Blogs are a really useful tool to have because they're free. You can set up on WordPress very easily. And people with blogs, it's been found, get 50% more visitors than websites who don't have blogs. The blog is kind of like your voice to your audience. It allows you to engage with people, and it allows you to have conversations with them. It also allows you to do this for free, and technically it's very easy to set up. So tip number 2 would be to have a blog and use that blog to push out great content. Tip 3, as I'm sure you're aware, tourism is a visual activity. As you can see on the screen, we've got something from Twycross Zoo, and they post different videos online of different things that are happening at Twycross Zoo. And these are very easy to make. You can use your mobile phone to take a video. You can then upload it to YouTube or upload it to your site, and you can give people images and videos of your accommodation or tourist resort. So tip 3, consider video. Tip 4 is to create something valuable. And what we mean by that is try to be useful. So the example you can see on the screen is from the National Geographic website, and they're giving you 20 ways to fix your trip. They're giving away travel tips. And if you can be useful to your customers, they're more likely to come back to you. Also, when you're creating your blog, you can think about what frequently asked questions are you often getting? What are people often asking you? And then you can use that as the title of your next blog post. So this may be things like 10 restaurants to go to in Louth, for example. So you're thinking, what do my customers want to know? What information do they need at the next step of the buying process? And you're then creating that information for them, trying to be as useful as possible. So tip 4 is create something valuable and useful to people who you want to come visit you. So that's tip number 4. An example of this, this is a digital marketing roadmap. We generated this in-house. These are relatively inexpensive to make. And this is Hallam's version of something useful. And we posted this online to help other digital marketers understand how all the different elements of digital marketing work together. Because we now have this online, we're getting more and more leads from it. Other people are posting it on their websites, and it goes viral online. And this has helped us generate more business, and it's relatively inexpensive. So share through social media. On screen you can see one of our clients, they're called New Forest Living. So they've created some travel tips of how to explore the New Forest better. And then to post this out to get a wider following, to get more people coming to their site, they're using different forms of social media. So they're pushing out through Facebook, Twitter, and on Google Plus as well. So the first main part is creating valuable content that people are going to find useful. The second part really then is to then share that through social media channels, and that's tip number 5. Tip 6 is to encourage others to share. If you're posting things yourself, they're only going to get to your followers. They're people who know about you already. But if other people are sharing your content on their social media channels, you're going to bring more people to your website who don't know about you. It gets your brand name out there further, and it's going to generate new leads for you. So by encouraging others to share, people share on social media for 2 main reasons. That is because they find the content useful, and they think other people will find it useful also, or because they find it entertaining. If you think of things like the cat videos, people think they're entertaining, so they share it. So you either want to be entertaining or useful, one of those 2 things. Also, you can actually write in the taglines, please do share this with your friends. If you actively encourage others to share, people are more likely to push it out, and you're going to find you're going to get more business from doing so. So tip number 6, encourage others to share. I don't suppose anyone knows why there's a penguin on the screen. It's a similar reason to the panda. It relates to an update that Google have done, and it's regards to links. Now, I'm not sure how much you know about SEO, search engine optimization, but that's the process of getting your website higher up the Google rankings. You're going to want to be higher up Google if you want to get more leads from it. And part of that is getting high quality links. The more links you have pointing to your website, they act as votes. It's other people online saying, this is a good website. It gives you authority and it gives you trust. So you want people to be linking to your website. And one way of doing that is by putting out high quality content and encouraging people to link to it. Think about all the people who are similar to your business and think about who will find that content you've generated to be useful. Other websites. You can contact them with a brief email and they will link back to your website. This will put you up the Google rankings and therefore generate more traffic to your website and ultimately more leads. So tip 7, get high quality links. So Google still rules the search engines. There are some crazy statistics about Google. I'm not sure if you know, there are 10 billion searches every single month. That's 10 billion. Of those, 30% of people will click on the very top result in Google. In fact, 90% of people won't even go past the first page. So to make this a bit more relevant, the search term hotels in Skegness has 4,500 searches every single month. So if you're ranking at the top for that phrase, you're going to get 1,500 people coming to your website every single month. Even if 1 in 3 of those makes an inquiry, that's 500 fresh inquiries every month. So it is powerful. And Google does still rule the search engines. So a little bit about that. Tip 8 about Google is to set up Google Alerts. This is a free service, and it will allow you to put a keyword phrase, which may be the name of your business, into the Google Alerts. And every time you're mentioned on Google, or every time a new piece of content is generated about your business, Google will then email you, telling you that you've been mentioned and telling you where you've been mentioned. So this allows you to monitor your online presence. and it's free. So set up Google Alerts, tip 8. I'm not sure how many of you use Google+, but if you've got a Gmail account, it automatically generates one for you. You may not like using Google+, but it's very important to use because Google+ is Google's version of social media, and it pulls all of its information through from it. So if you've got a well-filled-in Google+ page, it's actually going to help you in your search engine rankings. So why Google+? The first tip there is actually to get yourself as an individual onto Google+. It's very easy to do. Once again, it's free. You want to create full information in there. So tip 9, get yourself onto Google+. Once you're on Google+, it's then very important to hook it up to all your other profiles. As we've been talking about, you may be wanting to use Twitter or Pinterest or TripAdvisor. In Google+, you have the opportunity to link to these other forms of social media. And what this is doing is showing the search engine Google who you are on the internet. It's giving you a holistic picture of where you're contributing to. And the more it knows about you, the more it trusts you. And the more it trusts you, the more likely you're going to get high up in the search engine rankings. And as shown before, this will bring more people to your site and more business for yourselves. So tip 10, hook Google+ up to your other profiles. So you're going to have a blog online, and that blog is going to be your WordPress site. And on that, it gives you the option to hook up to Google+. You then want to point Google+ back to your blog, and what we'll do is it will trigger tip number 12, which is authorship. You may have seen when you're searching in Google that little picture of you down the side. That is Google authorship. And I was at a conference recently, and they did some eye tracking software, and when people look at that screen, their attention hovers over that person's face, that person's image. And they actually found that you get 150% more click-through rates when you actually have Google authorship. So if you get that hooked up, once again it's free and you can find how to do it online. A picture of yourself will be generated next to your search results. People will pay more attention to this and more people will click through into your website. So tip 12 is to become an author on Google. So we've talked about getting yourself onto Google+. Now it's very important to get your business onto Google+. If you do this, it will generate your map listings, your reviews. This example here is for the Beaver Bed and Breakfast at Woodside. As you can see, they've got a great background image. And getting your business onto Google+ is incredibly important because in the same way as you want Google to have a good picture of you, it's also important to have a good picture of your business. So tip 13, set your business up on Google+. Once you've done that, it's important to have a complete profile. This is our one. And what we mean by a complete profile is your contact information, so people can find you. Your story, so people know a little bit about you. And then again, the links to where you're contributing to. And once again, we're just giving Google as much information about us as possible, so it looks upon us favorably, so that we can get higher in the search engine rankings. Tip 15, share your content on Google+. Google+ is actually one of the only social media sites that allows you to segment your audiences and put them in something called circles. So you can have people who have already visited you, you could have prospects who may be visiting you in the future, competitors, friends, and you can segment them into circles. And this is very useful because you can push out targeted marketing messages at different people on Google+. You want your content, again, to be useful and to have links to your website. So tip 15 is to share content via Google+. Now, I will be talking about TripAdvisor shortly, which is something I'm sure you're all using, but it's also important to get reviews on Google+. And this looks like this in the search engine result pages. Once again, eye tracking software has shown that people take into account the Google rating at the bottom. If you're getting Google reviews, it will be generated in the results. It will look like this. And if you've got those star ratings, people take it seriously, people are going to look at that, and once again, they're more likely to click through to you, Lincoln Hotel, rather than the Premier Inn that doesn't have those reviews on it. So that tip is to get Google reviews. And I'm sure you've all heard of Twitter before. It's a microblogging site. It allows you to send short messages, primarily over mobile phones of around 144 in length. You may not enjoy using Twitter, but your audience is on Twitter, your visitors are on Twitter. It's a powerful marketing tool, and it's free to use. So we'll talk a little bit about Twitter. Tip 17 is to write a great Twitter profile. What does this mean for a great profile? The background image, so as you can see we've got Beaver Bury. You want something that's genuine. You don't want to use that iStock library of cheesy business people. You want a genuine photo of your business as a background. You can also have the option to write a little bit of information at the top on Twitter. That information should have your keywords first, so people know exactly who you are. If you are a hotelling Skegness, you want that to be included right at the beginning. Furthermore, there's no point having Twitter or using social media if you don't know what you want to achieve from doing it. You don't want it to be pointless activity. You want it to lead to more business. And because of this, you want strong calls to action on your Twitter page. That means you're directing your followers of what you want them to do. So you're pointing them towards your website. All of this is to drive people towards your website. So you want strong calls to action on the information. I tweet about all things digital, so people know what they're getting when they follow me. And then the final tip there is it's important to show your human side and interact in a human way. So tip 17 is to write a great Twitter profile. Once you're on Twitter, you're going to be giving information out to people. But also there's a lot of information out there that you may find useful. So on the screen you'll see some relevant accounts to the travel industry. For example, TripAdvisor. You should begin following relevant accounts because they're going to put out information that you may find useful. Not only that, you're then creating a community of people to interact with. So tip 18 is to follow relevant accounts. I'm not sure if any of you have heard of Hootsuite, but it's a free piece of software. And you may be hearing all of this and thinking, this is great, but I don't have time to be generating these updates. And I understand you're busy business people. But Hootsuite allows you to actually schedule tweets beforehand. So you can sit down on a Sunday night before the weeks began, and you can schedule when you want your updates to go out. And it's not just for Twitter, it's for Facebook as well. So if you get yourself on Hootsuite, which is free, you can then, beforehand, early in the week, schedule what's going to go out onto Facebook, what's going to go out on Twitter, what's going to go out on Google+, and Hootsuite will push it out for you automatically when you've scheduled it. It's free, and it's worthwhile using. Not only that, it's got other features. It will allow you to monitor where people are mentioning you on Twitter. So if you then want to go and respond, you're not going to actually miss something. The last thing you want is people wanting to engage with you and then you not responding to it. So Hootsuite is great for that. So tip 19 is to use Hootsuite. So again, there's the old adage of you have 2 ears and 1 mouth and you should use them in that order. And it's the same thing on all social media platforms, especially in Twitter. You want to be listening to conversations. You want to be seeing what people are saying about you. And after that listening, you want to ask yourself, how can you add value to that conversation? If you then go in and engage with people, giving suggestions, you're going to get more followers. More followers means more traffic to your website, which means more business. So tip 20 is listen to conversations. So I'm not sure if you know a hashtag. Hashtags are relatively simple. You just put it before words, and that makes that word searchable. It creates conversation threads. So an example of that is Travel Tuesday. If we're talking about engaging in conversations, you may want to find relevant conversations. And to find that, you can use the hashtags and search for what conversations you're looking to engage with. I didn't know until very recently that you could do this, but you can find journalists for different types of genres on Twitter. So you can find travel journalists. And what you're seeing on screen is a list of travel journalists. And the way we've generated this is you take someone that you know, someone like Simon Calder, you can then search for him. Once you've found him, down the side of his profile will be some examples of the lists that he's in. He's in a list called Travel Journalists. If you go into that list, you'll find a lot of different travel journalists. Now this is great from a Twitter point of view in terms of engaging with them, but also from just a general PR point of view. You may have something coming up, an event that you would like to publish, and you may want to find who to contact. By finding lists like this of travel journalists on Twitter, you're actually widening that PR circle. So tip 22 is find journalists. I'm sure you've used Facebook, or at least have heard of Facebook before. It's a social media platform. It's all about likes, friends, shares, comments, that type of activity. Your audience will be interacting on Facebook. So tip 23 is if you're setting up a Facebook account, you need to get the setup right from the start, because once you've set it up, it's hard to change afterwards. By this, what I mean is you get 2 different types of pages. You get a profile, and you get a page. People have profiles. I have a profile. Hallam Internet is a business, and it has a page. The reason to have this distinction and to keep it separate is some of the more advanced settings further down the line, they require you to have your business set up as a page. You can do things like advertising, creating quizzes, creating competitions. All of this is done as a business, which requires a Facebook page. So tip 23, right from the start, is get the setup right. Tip 24, again, we're using a Beaver Bed and Breakfast, Woodside Farm. They're a great example of having a complete page. What we mean by this, the image that you can see on the back of the screen is your cover image. Once again, don't use stock photography, use actual images from your attraction. Also, you want a cover photo, which is what you see in the square. And the more you fill in the page, the more information you're giving your visitor. It is crucial to make sure you have a link to your website and your telephone number. Once again, all of this activity, we want to have a purpose towards it, and that purpose is getting us more business. So you have to gear your strategy towards leading people towards your final objective. So tip 24 is have a complete page. So this is the Trentham Estate. They're one of our clients, and they've got a great use of Facebook apps. Apps are free, and what they are things that you can put on your page that pulls information through from other websites. So you may have a TripAdvisor set up, you may have Pinterest or Instagram set up, but you can actually download a Facebook app which will pull all of that information through and allow you to have it on your Facebook page as well. So for example, the Trentham Estate has TripAdvisor. So on Facebook, you can't just see their normal information, you can also see all of their TripAdvisor reviews. So that tip is to get Facebook apps, and particularly TripAdvisor. Tip 26 is to be human. This is another one of our clients, Crystal Ski. This is a post that they made, and you can see they're being human by their use of colloquial language. They're thinking about who their audience are. They get a lot of people between the age of 20 and 35, so they're using language like check them out. So you want to be human, knowing who your target audience are, and engaging in a friendly way. It's also got at the bottom a question, what's your favorite non-skiing activity? The reason why this is important is because people are going to be following you on Facebook and Twitter, but that's people who already know about your business. That's not the people you want to be marketing to. If you ask people questions, people are going to respond to you. On these sites, when people respond, other people can see those responses, which means other people will see your brand name. Other people will become a follower of you. So by asking questions, you're going to bring more people to your Facebook page and therefore more people to your site. So tip 26 is be human, and part of being human is being inquisitive and asking questions. It's 26. Tip 27 follows on from that, being helpful. Again, this is one of our clients, Crystal Ski. They had it set up so on a Saturday night, they had one guy in, sat on the Facebook chat, which is a live chat function, being there for questions. And they found that lots of people came and asked questions, and that period of that week, they actually had 150% more inquiries than before. So by being helpful, it doesn't mean you actually have to sit there on live chat, but by putting helpful information out there will generate you more leads. So tip 27 is to be helpful. So we're actually slightly over halfway. I hope everyone's okay. I hope there are a few tips in there that you can take away. I know I'm rattling through them quite quick, but I hope there is something of interest for you. Let's see if we can get through them all within the 45 minutes. So YouTube, you may not know too much about YouTube. It is actually a search engine. It's a search engine for videos. It's the second largest search engine in the world after Google. There's actually 60 hours of video uploaded every single hour. There's over 4 billion videos watched every week, which is a crazy statistic. So a lot of people are on YouTube now. I'm not sure if you know who owns YouTube, but it's Google that owns YouTube. So it's a search engine for videos. It's free to use. It's worth getting yourself on there. So it comes back to this again, being useful and creating useful content. This lady has created, as you can see, travel tips of how to pack your toiletries bags. Now that may be something that you think you know how to do, and I'm sure we all do, but this video has got 55,000 views for something as simple as how to pack your toiletries. We've all now got videos, we've got phones with cameras on it. We can create any type of video we like. If we create a useful video, it's going to bring people to your website. If you think 55,000 people have viewed a video as simple as this, how many can you get out of creating something that's actually useful? This can actually... This lady who's created these people will be eventually going to your website. And the more people who go to your website through these sites, that's a signal to Google that your website is useful, because a lot of people are going to it. So if you can create these videos to get people to your site, you're going to rank higher, you're going to get more business again. So tip 28, create useful videos. That's just showing that she got 55,000 views. So evergreen content, that's a bit of a digital marketing term, and all it means is content that won't go out of fashion. If you're wanting to be targeted with your time because you don't want to waste your marketing efforts, if you're going to create content, don't create lists of things to do this weekend, because lists of things to do this weekend will go out of date. Think about evergreen content. That can be a list of restaurants in Louth, but think something that won't go out of date and won't go out of fashion, and it'll make sure that the content that you do create is going to last a long time, and therefore you're going to get a better return on investment for your time. So now Pinterest. Statistically, women use Pinterest, more women than men. It's also women under 35. Another interesting statistic is it's women who tend to book the holidays. So because of this, your audience are on Pinterest and they're using it to research holidays. So one tip would be to get yourself on Pinterest. So tip 30 on Pinterest, it allows you to create boards, and on those boards you can put pins on there. And pins can be any type of media, but especially images and videos. So this example, as you can see on the screen, is for the Washington House Inn. And one of their boards that they've created is rooms at the inn. So they've created photos of all the different bedrooms they've got at the inn. So tip 30 is create boards and pins with pictures of your accommodation. So that's tip 30. Once you have your own boards, you can repin other people's pins. So you may find that your visitors have been to your guest house and they may have a board of nice places that I've been to recently or holidays they've had. And on that, there may be photos of them at your attraction with their family, with their kids. And you can repin their pins onto your board so that other people can see people actually enjoying themselves at your attraction. So that's user-generated content, and it shows the human side of your business. You're saying, this is who I am, and this is people enjoying themselves at my accommodation. So tip 31 is repin other people's pins. Tip 32, once again, you can download these things called widgets, which means you can put these things onto your website. So you can put Pinterest onto your website so people remember to actually do it. So tip 32, add pin it to your website. Now, TripAdvisor. I know some people may be reluctant to get on TripAdvisor. We've actually found that some people don't want to be on it because they're worried that people are either going to be untruthful or they're going to be giving negative comments. But TripAdvisor is actually an incredibly busy site. It gets 56 million unique visitors every month. A lot of people are using it. On top of that, there's also Flipkey. I believe the distinction between Flipkey and TripAdvisor is if you have self-catered accommodation, it goes on Flipkey. So if you generally, as a rule of thumb, don't have a reception desk, it'll be on Flipkey, which is ran by TripAdvisor anyway. So there is a distinction. So first tip, 33, is claim your listing. So people will already be on TripAdvisor and they may already be talking about you. But if you haven't claimed your listing, it won't be actually listed to yourself, which means you don't have any control over it. It does cost money. It's £25 per month to use TripAdvisor. But it's worth getting yourself on there because you're going to want to control and engage with people who are talking about you. And people do use things like TripAdvisor to check out accommodation before they go along. So tip 33 is claim your listing on TripAdvisor. When you're on TripAdvisor, it's important to respond to feedback. If you think about if someone's leaving a negative comment about you or a positive comment about you, but particularly if it's negative, you want to then engage with them, apologize, and then other people will actually see that the human side of you. They'll see that you're actually talking to people who have got issues. And not only that, they found that people were 80% more likely to return to the same place after having a negative experience if that person responded to you. If you think how much worse it would look to leave that unresponded to. A general piece of advice is if you are angry, you may want to sleep on it overnight. You don't want to be posting anything negative back into response. So tip 34 is respond to feedback. Once again, we're talking about widgets here, so you can get the TripAdvisor widget. This means that you can put it onto your site. It means you can put it onto your Facebook. It means that people remember to give you reviews. It means you're going to get more positive reviews. It's going to generate you more business. So tip 35, use a TripAdvisor widget. So everything we've been talking about today, now there is a purpose in doing all this, and the purpose of it is to get more people to your site. But we know that you're busy, so there's no point in getting yourselves on all these platforms just because you've heard social media is good for promoting your tourism business. You want to consider the right platforms for you. LinkedIn is a B2B site where business professionals meet up. It may not be appropriate to have your business on there. In fact, I would say it wouldn't be. What is appropriate are things like Pinterest, TripAdvisor, Facebook, and Twitter. Of these, you may not want to use all of them, but you may want to use a few. So you want to consider, think about your own time and budget restraints, think about what you're most comfortable using, and then think about where your audience is, who are you trying to attract, and where are they going to be. And just choose the ones that are right for you. So that's tip 36, consider the right platforms for you. So the final part of this, just to give a quick overview, I know it's going quite quickly. You've created great content. You've created useful content, answering the questions that your audience are going to want to know. You've then pushed it out through social media to get your brand name further out there, to generate people coming to your website. Once they're at your website, you're going to want them to do something. You're going to either want them to contact you or fill in an inquiry form. So your website has to be designed in a way that makes it easy for people to do this. So the last few tips are about your website. Tip 37 is on your website, you want to have strong calls to action. Calls to action is basically just the kind of language that point people towards your final business objective. So you may want people to call you, you may want people to email you, or to fill in an inquiry form. In the example above, which is for the Peacock, at the very top, they've got a special offers section. Now, they've obviously made a decision that what they really want people to do is look at their special offers. And because of this, they made it very bold, they made it very clear, they put it at the top of their website, because they know they want people to click on it. So think about what you want people to do when they're on their website, and then make it easy for them to do it. So tip 37, strong calls to action. Following on from that, similar point, tip 38, make it easy to contact you. We have a saying of beneath the fold, which is where the website is cut off by the screen. So many of our clients come to us with people not calling them up, and that's because they put the phone number at the bottom of the page. And people are very fickle on the internet. They don't spend much time looking through things. If they can't find your phone number, they might not give you a call. So put your phone number and contact details at the top of your page in bold letters so they can see it straight away. Make it easy for people to contact you. It's tip 38. So great SEO also includes a promise. We briefly mentioned what SEO was. It's the process of getting you up higher in the search engine rankings. You want to consider what phrase people are searching for when they're looking for you. If you're a B&B in Skegness, B&B's in Skegness, but you want to be defined and targeted about what you want to be found for in the search engines. You then want to use that word, that phrase, on your site in the content of it. So, in this example, the Peacock is aware that they're a form of luxury accommodation, and they're also in the Derbyshire Dales. So they know people are going to be searching for accommodation in the Derbyshire Dales, or luxury accommodation in the Derbyshire Dales, and they've included that keyword in the content, preferably in the title or the headings, or both, of the page. So this example here, they've got luxury accommodation in the Derbyshire Dales Peak District, which is good for SEO, but it's also got a company promise. They're promising what they're going to get when they come to you, which is luxury accommodation. So tip 39, great SEO, also includes a promise. Tip 40 is trust signals. This example is just getting, if you have any form of accreditation, if you have any positive references, you want to put them on your site. This one's from Visit England. You want to make that clear at the top. People like to know who they're dealing with are accredited and professional. So tip 40 is trust signals on your website. Tip 41 is those social signals. So everything we've been talking about before, getting Facebook followers, getting Twitter followers, because it converts to business. To make it easy for people who have already come and stayed with you, it's very easy to download these little widgets to put on your website if you just Google it, or potentially you may need technical help, but it's quite easy to do. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, share this article, have those social signals on your website. It's what your customers are wanting to see. So tip 41, social signals. So maybe when you go home, you can try Googling yourself and seeing what you look like in Google. This is an example of Hearts Hotel in Nottingham. And what you can see on the screen is what happens when you Google that term. So where it says ad on the screen, the little yellow things, that is where people have paid to get to the top of Google. There's a service called pay-per-click, and you can actually pay a company to get, or pay Google to get you to the very top without actually having to do search engine optimization. So all the ones in yellow are advertisements. Beneath that, you'll see the organic results, the people who have got there naturally. On that, there is something called the meta description. That's the information beneath the title. And you want this to show them what you want to do. You want to be clear about what type of business you are, and you want to write an enticing meta description so people will click through onto your site. You can see that Hearts Hotel are actually dominating that front page because their map listing has also been generated on the side. So when you go home and Google your own business name, you want to make sure it's pulling through your map listing, your review listing, so that you can get a result like this. A lot more people will click on you if you can have that kind of coverage on Google. It's like having a larger ad. So tip 42, consider what you look like in Google. Once again, this is a free service. It's called Google Analytics. Your web developer will be able to put it on your site, or you can do it for yourself. Google Analytics allows you to track the traffic to your website. It allows you to see how many visitors you're getting to your site, where those visitors are coming from, if they've been referred from anyone else. It allows you to see what search terms they've come to you from, whether they're men or women, what they've done once you get onto your site. If you're actually going to try and get people to visit you, you want to measure what happens when they come to you. And Google Analytics allows you to do that, and it's a free service. So tip 43, use Google Analytics. Tip 44 is to plan your content. We know you're busy, you may not have that much time. Plan beforehand what you want to push out. Plan the type of articles you want to write. When you're doing your frequently asked questions for the title blogs, plan that beforehand, which is tip 44. And finally, tip 45 is make 15 minutes per day. We know that you're busy. We know that social media isn't the top of your priorities. But just by doing 15 minutes a day, you can do everything that I've just mentioned there. You can find that because it's a free type of marketing, it's got a great return on investment. With those 15 minutes, we recommend 3 minutes is to generate updates, the things you're going to be saying on social media. That's 3 of the minutes. 2 minutes is something we call sharing the love, which means engaging with other accommodation providers, B&Bs, saying what you think they do particularly well. Other people will see that. They'll then want to follow you. And then tip 10 is to actually generate those updates. So that's the 45th tip, make 15 minutes today. That's done. That's all the 45 tips in probably slightly less than 45 minutes. 38. So briefly to review what you can do when you get home, start thinking about creating content, start thinking about putting that content onto your social media, and then checking that your website is geared up for the business objectives that you have.